On January 27th, 2023, a known YouTuber called Gooseworks posted a teaser to their show called The Amazing Digital Circus, which was being produced by Glitch Productions. I remember being on YouTube and seeing it on my recommended page, and as I watched it, I immediately got intrigued and excited for the pilot to be released later that year. I've been there from the beginning. It's been 3 years since then, and the show has become a huge phenomenon, becoming a huge money maker for Glitch, and it alone has played a huge role in funding for them. It has garnered over 1 billion views with its pilot, nearly having 500 million views. It got to be on Netflix, got its finale shown in cinemas around the world, and made practically $40 million in the box office. Who would have seen that coming? That is an unbelievable level of success for an indie animated show to have reached, and it's a huge feat for indie animation and indie productions in general. And that, honestly, to me, is deserved. It rivals the success of actual mainstream companies that produce shows and movies. We had outlets like the fucking BBC making news reports on the show when episodes 8 and 9 came to cinemas. That was so satisfying. If Glitch locks in, they could use the huge profit made from the last act to make episodes of Gamerverse, Knights of Guinevere, The Gaslight District, and Lackadaisy at a faster pace. I mentioned Lackadaisy because they are helping with the production of the show now. I don't know if it works like that, but that could be a really fucking nice possibility, especially as someone who is looking forward to more episodes of those shows. Anyways, I love this show. When the pilot dropped on October 13th, 2023, I just fell in love with it. I'm not really a fan of the pilot right now, but I still think it's a good introduction of the show with its characters and the world. Every episode of the show is good. Yes, even the finale. Some fans really don't like that one, but I loved it. That episode nearly made me cry when I watched it when it premiered on YouTube. It's not on my top 3, but it's still amazing. No pun intended, guys.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And now Digital Circus is officially over, so I decided to make this video about the show just to express my interest for it. And most of the stuff I talk about on this channel are targeted towards young kids, and I don't know, I just decided it would be a good opportunity to talk about something made more specifically for older audiences. I mean, I have done that before with Rick and Morty and Smiling Friends recently this year, and those shows are made specifically for older teens and adults, but still, and that's only because Smiling Friends became my favorite show that ended so quickly, and Rick and Morty is getting a movie that made those videos in the first place. The writing of Digital Circus to me is just so good in my opinion. Like, as you're watching the show, you notice that there's a lot of foreshadowing, and the way they present the themes with the characters is just so down to earth and great to me. The world of the show is so damn intriguing, full of mystery. A lot of locations in the circus lead to such fun viewing experiences. The show is a comedy drama, so when it's got time to tell jokes, most of the time it doesn't fail, especially episode 5. That episode is the funniest episode of the show, jokes bursting throughout. Me and my siblings had the time of our lives watching the episode in the living room when it premiered on that night in June 2025.
Thanks, Jax. Appreciate it.
I'm not Jax.
Oi, mate! I'm an Australian extremist, and I've come to detonate this bomb that'll release all the world's deadliest spiders into... Did I pick a bad time?
I'd personally go with blue. Blue's my favorite color, it being closest to black and all.
Wouldn't black be your favorite color then?
Well, no, there's no black wire.
Hi! I'm a New Zealand extremist, and I don't know what New Zealanders threaten people with.
We're not skipping it.
Slice of life animes are the worst ones. It's embarrassing. I mean, I guess it's not as embarrassing as that time Gangle took an anime figure and...
Yeah, let's skip it, that's fine. No, let's skip this one.
What's that? What the heck? Who did this? You!
Jax, you're up to bat!
I can't, don't wanna, I quite look like this though!
Seems fitting for you, though. I figured you'd be into this.
What does that mean? What's that supposed to mean?
I'm just having fun. I forgot you hate fun.
I don't want to wear this!
I have never seen you this upset about something.
Jax! That! I'm gonna kill you when this is over.
That shit's gonna be nostalgic someday. I'm just imagining the moment where in fucking 2060, where I talk about the show with my kids, and talk about how I was cackling my brain out when I was watching episode 5 with my siblings, and then they're just gonna look at me like I snorted 60 packs of cocaine then. The episodes took so long to come out due to Glitch being an indie studio, and yeah, you could really see why when watching the episodes. Glitch is a really small studio compared to like bigger studios like, I don't know, let's say Disney TVA and Cartoon Network studios. I guess those are pretty good examples. Yeah, Glitch's team is small compared to them, so that's why it takes them a long time to make shows. The episodes of Digital Circus are really good and have a lot of passion put into it. I really feel sorry for Gooseworks due to how toxic some people in the fandom were. She had to devote so much time to making sure this show was great, and yet she still has to endure more stress when scrolling on social media. This is why I don't want to have a million accounts subscribed to me ever, cause the pressure can get to you. The spectacle of the dark and emotional moments in the show, like, wow, they're really well executed. The voice acting in my opinion is also really fucking good. All the main characters of this show are pretty good in my book. Pomni is an amazing character. Pomni had some of the best character development in the show. She went from being anxious as fuck on her first day to adjusting and becoming close with everyone in the circus to the point that they all found their purpose in the circus, well except from Jax. But Jax is Jax. She also managed to get close to Jax despite him being such a big cunt to everybody. Kane's a funny character alongside Bubble. Kane is the ringleader of the circus and bro reminds me of Ballyhoo from Mario Party 8. Really underrated game by the way, I have great memories with it. Anyways, we also see that Kane goes through existential dread and struggles despite him being an AI. And it shows that he's a really good character that has human emotions as well. I'm gonna have a lot to say about Jax cause I mean, well he is one of the main characters and he is my favorite character in the show despite him being a prick to everybody in the circus and refusing to open up and get help. He's also funny, well, mostly for like the first 5 episodes of the show before he eventually breaks. And he's such a great depiction of self-inflicted trauma from when he pushed his mom before his brain got copied into the circus. And also he's a victim of abuse inflicted from his parents and he went through a lot in his personal life. But he's not the only one in the circus who did so. That doesn't justify his actions. And those who say otherwise are some annoying glazers. He also is kind of similar to Gango, with Gango's arc in episode 4 where she masked and hid her emotions. And speaking of Gango, her episode was so peak. I personally resonated with her as I am on the spectrum. I am able to mask it in public, well, sometimes due to me being on the lower end of it. She became one of my favorite characters because of that episode. Anyways, back to Jax. Jax came out as trans femme to his mom before he joined the circus, and also Ribbit, but he gets embarrassed when Kaufmo knocks on Ribbit's door. And also Jax has a gender identity crisis, so he pushes her away, but it is partially due to what he did to his mom that is a trigger for that, leading to the same cycle happening to his closest friends of them being pushed away by Jax because Jax does not want them to suffer. But his closest friends, well except for Pomni, end up abstracting due to the way Jax treated them. Jax pretends he's okay when in reality he isn't because of the fact that he made Ribbit and Kaufmo abstract. To cope with this, Jax took his feelings out on everyone in the circus.
Do you think pairing them up together is a good idea?
Of course I do. They're the two most mentally stable and capable characters to be paired. I see how far I can push things. I screw with people, and I break the fourth wall. You wanna know why? It's 'cause it's funny. I do everything 'cause it's funny. 'Cause I'm the funny one.
I understand why Jax gets a lot of hate as a character. He literally is a dick and he caused his 2 closest friends at the time to abstract. But hating his character because he is mean and cruel is so dumb to me. Well, actually she cause she's trans, but she's closeted due to her being insecure about her gender identity. And according to Gooseworks, it's fine to refer to Jax as he or she pronouns, so I'm gonna refer to Jax as a he because when I was writing this part of the script, well, before I'm even saying this shit right now, because I wrote the script before I made the voice lines and I'm making changes to them as well while I'm making the voice lines, so yeah, I'm just referring to Jax as a he. Jax is a fictional character. It's not a crime to like him. He can be a bad person while also being a good character. I'm not saying you have to like Jax as a character. Like, there could be valid reasons as to why you hate him as a character. To some, he's corny and annoying, and those are perfectly valid reasons to hate a character. Some of the Jax haters genuinely expected him to have character development, as if this is Winnie the Pooh where everyone gets along and is happy with each other's company. He's heavily impacted from his trauma, and he's just a bully because, well, that's how he copes with his trauma. I'm not saying Jax is misunderstood or anything, he's a dick. Pomni beat the fuck out of his ass in episode 6 and he deserved that. But some critiques that his character gets is dumb, and some are even objectively wrong. On about some, the show would be better off without him.
See, now that's some bullshit.
He literally contributes to the plot to most of the episodes of the show if you pay attention to it properly. If Pomni didn't talk to Jax in episode 5 at all, arguably Kane wouldn't have been deleted and sent to the void. Hear me out, guys. Jax felt like shit when he pushed away Pomni in episode 6. Notice how starting in episode 7, he is not bullying the other members of the circus as much as he usually does. Subo even brings that up in conversation with him.
Aren't you supposed to be miserable about your ability to choose your own body or something?
Aren't you supposed to be causing trouble for everyone? I've been starting to think that maybe the ability to change is fine. Not needing to commit to one thing all the time.
How about that?
And if I do still have problems, I talk about them with the people I trust.
Good thing I don't have any problems then.
Where are you going?
Anywhere you losers won't yap my ear off.
Then at the end of episode 7, Jax loses it and calls out Kane for his lies and scandals, leading to the members of the circus turning against him. And then we have that scene in episode 8 where everyone aside from Kinga calls him out for torturing them, which to be fair was a distraction to help Kinga sort out Kane, but still my point still stands. Like him or hate him as a character, the show wouldn't be the same without Jax. Not to mention episode 2 as well. Pomni wouldn't have had that interaction with Gumigoo if Jax didn't throw Pomni out of the moving truck.
Can you believe this, Pomni? First she draws anime, now she drags us all into one? She must be one of them, losers.
And episode 3 as well, as where
you get the idea.
So this argument just falls flat unless the people coming up with the argument don't like the show because of these plot escalations. This isn't the case most of the time, which makes sense. Again, I should establish that if you hate Jax as a character, then that's okay. To each their own. After all, it's just a cartoon. There are real problems going on in this world. Like for example, this bloody heat wave that's going on where I live at the time I'm writing this video. Well, most of the video. It's so fucking humid out and we don't have built-in AC. Anyways, to hate Jax as a character for being mean and cruel is really stupid. Go watch Little Einsteins if you're gonna complain about a mean character being mean. Everyone is nice in that show. Also, that show is unironically good in my opinion. It's really comforting and chill. Mean characters add to conflict, which is a key feature most shows need to have. Man, I yapped a lot about Jax. I could have just made a whole video talking about him a lot. Moving on. Anyways, Ragatha is the first friend that Pomni made in the circus, and she is the most optimistic and kindest out of everyone in the show. She's people pleasing, and she's a really interesting and great character. I wish she had more exploration. Same thing with Subo. Ragatha and Subo's episode was shared with Jax and Kinga respectively, and because of how short the show is, I feel like they didn't get fleshed out properly. We got Ragatha's backstory shared in episode 5, but it's not like her character changed that much then. I'd even say the same thing about Kinga to an extent. He got closer to Pomni in episode 3 and he helped Pomni escape hell, but that's pretty much all of his character progression in that episode. Again, that was his own episode, and it was amazing. I'd say it was the first 9 out of 10 episode of the show, but it still wasn't enough in my opinion. I understand why the show was short though. Gooseworks didn't want filler to ruin the show, and she was also burnt out. But in a better timeline, Digital Circus actually could have been way better if the show just had more episodes to explore the characters and build the bonds between them and the world of the show. That's not filler. The characters and world are a big part of the story. This is why shows like Gravity Falls work so well. They devote time to bond the characters and expand the world. The finale wouldn't have been as good if all the non-story episodes were not in the show. The characters would just not be as great. Pacifica would have never had character development. A good like 3 extra episodes of Digital Circus would be awesome. Having episodes that flesh out the characters would honestly have made Digital Circus an amazing show to me. But it's only just a pretty great show because of this flaw that the show suffers from. I also find it mildly jarring that we got to see how Gango got in the circus, but we didn't get to see the same thing with Subo in episode 9. Digital Circus would have been further expanded, making it feel like a more complete show to me, but it's still kind of valid that Gooseworks only made 9 episodes. She not only created the show, but she had to write every single episode, and it was really fucking tiring for her. I forgot to mention how much I like the character designs of the characters in the show. They're really good and I think they perfectly represent each character and their respective personalities. Digital Circus still is one of the best shows made in the past 5 years despite the flaws that I have with it. It has a great message about learning to find meaning in living. It's not the best indie animated show, there's a few that's better, but it's still a pretty great watch. Some of the IRL friends that I have made, like I wouldn't have been friends with them in the first place if it wasn't for this show. Oh my god, I'm such a chud. This damn circus show has written a brief part of my life for me. I'll be re-watching Digital Circus many times as time passes, and I'll miss watching it for the first time. The show's legacy will still live on. Thanks to Gooseworks for making this great show, and also Glitch for producing it. Alright, I'm done with my yapping session. I'm gonna go play Deltarune Chapter 5 now.